Welcome back to episode 6 of Not a Roadrunner. So this one is basically a big explanation one, so it will just be me talking. So, like, fair warning. It's an explanation of kind of what happened with the gearbox, because it all came out, we cleaned it, we gave it to Dave, and there was untold amounts of complications. There was, everything went wrong. Basically, it ended up being, I think, about a 3 month process of trying to get it all sorted and then back to the car. So, you know, there's a lot of issues with it that went on. Wrote down my little list so I could remember everything. So, first thing was the box, the actual box itself. The rear half of the gearbox was held on by dowels and nuts when it should have been bolts. So obviously it had been rebuilt before, and they bodged it big time bodge. It was also a 76 box, apparently 1976, so it wasn't actually the correct box for this car anyway, which does make me wonder. The threads and that were all buggered and everything else, so Dave actually hooked me up with one of his friends' like mock-up boxes. So it's actually a 1972 one, so it actually worked out better for me. Yeah, what are you gonna do? And he did all that for free as well, which was brilliant. The other thing was, well, it wasn't really actually something that went wrong, it was just something that I was not aware of. So when Chrysler made their gearboxes, it was very strange. They did, well, it wasn't really strange, it was just depending on what car you bought and how high performance it was, depending on how many clutches there were. My car actually came with a 3 clutch pack, because it was a 400 2-barrel, which was sort of like the highest one that you could get on a satellite. But if you bought a 440, then you got a 4 clutch. And then if you bought a Hemi, you would got a 5 clutch, because, you know, Hemis are Hemis. So obviously mine was the Dagenham dustbin of the lot, and Dave actually replaced one of those with a 4 clutch for me, because, you know, shifts better, longer lasting, better for drag racing. Don't mention that. Don't tell my mum. The next thing was upgrading the box. That was the main thing. Was if you're going to take it out and do all this, then we might as well do it properly and do everything that we want to it. One of the things, I'll see if I can insert a clip or something of it happening, but one of the big problems with these gearboxes is the sprag. I think it's at the back. I think what the idea is to make sure that the gearbox can shift smoothly when under load. It's held on by like a little grub screw or a couple of them, which obviously isn't really holding anything in, especially at the sort of like drag racing speeds, and they have a tendency to blow out through the cabin, like through the floor and then through the door, which you obviously don't want. So they do an upgrade. It's like a big bolt one. It's got like massive bolts going through it to lock it in, so you obviously don't have it flying out through your cabin and breaking your door. Or you know, it could just fly out through you. I would not be mad. I got hooked up by Alders Automotive. They helped me out on quite a lot of the bits, actually. I'll explain the pricing and stuff afterwards. But the other thing that I got was a shift pack. They do 3, well, I bought it in a pack of 3. Soft, medium and hard. The hard, I mean, I've got the medium one in at the moment, and I can't imagine how bad the hard one is. It's just like, instead of it being like in the gearbox, it's like crunching through gears, because obviously you slam your foot down, it's like getting through like first, second, third, and then stopping, because it only has 3 gears. That wasn't actually that bad. Those two together, they stock it all in the UK. Like, it's brilliant. They stock it all in the UK, and I think all of that came to £260, which sounds like a lot, but the sprag, I believe online, is like $160 or $180 or something, and the shift pack's like $110. So including shipping it over here, that's really cheap. The angle might be a little bit different because I forgot something, but when you're doing your valve body, you do have an option of manual valve body. So on my little shifter thing, which I can show you in a sec, it has first, second, drive. I like the idea of just sticking it in drive and just cruising around. First is for burnouts, or first, second, drive for like first, second, third. But you can actually have it where it's basically like a manual car. First, second, third, done. To me, this car, you know, I want to take it down the drag strip and everything, but I don't want it to be a pain to take out. Do you know what I mean? Like, it defeats the point for me. Yeah. What are you gonna do? going back to when we took it out, we had 2 bolts missing at the top because they're actually a different size and thread than the 3 at the bottom. So obviously whoever rebuilt it before couldn't be asked to buy new ones. So I bought 2 new ones of those. I think I just got them for, I think it was, I searched it online, it was like boltsdirect.com or something. It was just a generic website. Also, the other thing that we did was when we took off that little plate, there was a torque converter bolt rattling around in there. Brilliant. So I went for all new torque converter bolts because you do not want your torque converter detaching, because then, you know, we have no drive whatsoever. So they were £26 and they were from US Automotive, which they had some outstanding service as well, because I think they got it to me within a week. Not that it made any difference, because it didn't go in for like another 2 months, but you know, the service was still there, and it was still, you know, it was still needed. A bird just landed on my windshield. Oh, how weird. In the process of doing all the gearboxing and rebuilding it and everything, we also managed to lose the dipstick, which I thought, be a nice easy fix. £110 if I shipped it, and I could buy it over here for £80 for a dipstick. Who pays £80 for a dipstick? So I ended up sort of fashioning my own one and got some measurements from my buddy over in the US, and just marked it all up, just cut it out, and prayed it worked, to be honest. Just have to remember when you're putting the gearbox back in. So you obviously push the torque converter in to where the housing. When you're putting it up, make sure it doesn't slot back out, because basically what happens is if when you bolt the casing up to the engine, if the torque converter is not seated properly, it will just crush the clutches, which is not good. It will no longer work. Your whole rebuild out the window. Start again. So we don't want to do that. So definitely make sure about that. The other thing is when you put all the oil back in it, which I think when I did it, I ended up ordering 15 litres worth. So note that down. Definitely check, double check and triple check. Possibly even check how much you took out to start with. I mean, mine broke not because of the oil level, but because of the kickdown, which I'll move on to in a minute. The other thing was when you do finally get the gearbox back in, cycle it through all the gears, because then it oils up everything, like, you know, lubes it all up, make sure it's all, nothing's like crunching together, because you definitely don't want that. Then that Dave got us to do, put it in drive, and then forward, second, forward. Hardcore battling with this storage problem. So if it cuts, it's because I've run out of storage and I've had to offload more apps. So back to it. So yeah, forward back, but just forward in each gear, keep cycling it around over and over and over, check your dipstick level, because you have to just check it warm anyway. Strange thing, I always think you got to check your fluids cold, but no, it says check it warm. So that is definitely a thing that we need to do. Final thing, kickdown linkage, check it works. That's what blew up my gearbox to start with. So if you don't check it, it will just blow up again. Mine, the issue was it was the rod rather than a cable. The rod wasn't long enough. He changed it to a 4-barrel, 2-barrel. It was a 2-barrel, had a 4-barrel, didn't reach. So it blew up. Brilliant. Well done. I replaced that. I think Lockcar do one, but also you can get like cheap knockoff ones on eBay, which I think is what I did. So don't worry about that. All it is basically it attaches to the bottom. So when you're at wide open throttle, it pulls this little lever down in the gearbox. I've got a whole video coming out on how to set it up and how to do it. But that basically increases the oil pressure through your oil lines as it's at wide open throttle, because obviously the gearbox is getting hot. So it takes it off to the cooler more fluid off to the cooler to prevent it from overheating. So that is the whole reason why you have the kickdown. The more wide open throttle, the more oil pressure or fluid pressure, so to stop you blowing up your gearbox. Simple as. So that is the 5-10 minute talk through of the mare I had of my gearbox. It's had to be cut short because storage. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed it. I mean, has literally just been me talking, but you know, hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Like, subscribe and share, and yeah, just have a great day. See you in the next video. Cheers, guys.